Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Hub. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. This is where House of God Worship Center brings together the community, right? So we can discuss several topics such as health, finances, community, education, politics, right? All here on this platform. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Tonight, we have an amazing topic and an amazing speaker that's going to be our guest this evening. We ask that you go ahead and like, tag, and share because we definitely want to get our numbers up for this evening, right? Thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead and tell us where you're tuning in from. We'd like to hear that. I know we have people from Hampton here, but if you're tuning in from another city, we definitely love to hear that tonight. So we meet every Friday, the first Friday of the month here on the Hub, right? And our guest tonight is coming to us all the way from California. So we are so grateful that he chose to be with us tonight. And as we bring Mr. Daniel Devers on, I ask that you please, if you have questions, if you have comments, definitely give us your feedback because this topic is going to be amazing. It is going to change the trajectory of your life if you tune in and actually put to application what we're talking about this evening. We see somebody from Georgia on the line. Welcome. Yes, that's what I like to see. South Carolina's on the line. That's right. Good. Keep on. If you're not from Hampton, Virginia, please tell me where you're tuning in from tonight. And we're so grateful to have Mr. Daniel Devers with us tonight. He has been with World Financial Group, which is the firm that he represents for 10 years. So he has a plethora of experience. He has a background in coaching, and he is a phenomenal educator. And he also has experience with real estate. So all of that is going to play into him presenting to us an outstanding package tonight, right? He has a certificate of completion in leadership development, and he has done multiple events where he's spoken on personal growth, leadership, athletics, and also finance. 10 years in the financial industry is what has him on our platform tonight. And I know that you all are going to be in for a treat. So please go ahead, like, tag, and share. That's right. If you're not from Hampton, go ahead and tell me where you're tuning in from. And we're going to go ahead and bring our guest on, Mr. Daniel Devers. Y'all give it up for him.
Hey, Tremaine, how you doing?
Good, good, good. Thank you so much, Daniel, for agreeing to come on with us tonight.
No, first of all, thank you for giving me an opportunity to join your platform and share some of the knowledge that's gonna be I guess dispersed here today. I wish we had all evening to do it. I know we won't be on too long, but at the same time, I'm gonna do my best to give you guys some of the knowledge that I've learned over the years and be able to maybe hopefully what we're believing is that you're going to take the information and apply it to your life. So that's the most important part.
Absolutely. Well said, Daniel. Now, I just have a question for you. Like, what made you want to get into the financial industry?
Well, initially, if we look back, like you said, I've been in the industry for 10 years, but prior to that, I was in real estate. And prior to real estate, I was a loan officer and did mortgages. And so I just saw how people were getting put in positions where they were just getting debt put on top of them. As a loan officer, you get to look at people's credit. You look at all the stuff that's on their credit that's kind of holding them back from getting the loan they're looking for. And then just, growing up, I've seen some situations where I only wish that, maybe there was more preparation for individuals that I knew personally where they could have known some things that could have given them a leg up in society, right? And so that's one of the things that first struck me just on a personal level. And I said, there has to be a better way. There has to be a way to be able to get this information that I'm seeing or change people's situations based on what I'm seeing. And so, I was actually blessed with an opportunity to get into real estate, like you mentioned, help families out when we had that huge market crash back in 2008. I got into the industry of helping people either get rid of their home on a short sale, do a loan modification, or if they wanted to keep the home, just trying to write letters to the bank's attorneys to help them keep their home. Well, during that process, I ran into a gentleman who was with the current financial firm that I'm with now. And he sat down with me and he went over some concepts that just blew my mind. And so hopefully some of that I'll get to share with you guys today, but it just made sense to me. And what I love most is that he came from an educational standpoint before he asked me to start doing things with my money. He taught me first and then said, hey, this is what you need to work up to, gave me some goals to work towards over the next 5 to 10 years. So
that is phenomenal. And that is really the perfect segue into what we're going to be talking about tonight. Our topic tonight is securing the family bank. And, you know, I've had the pleasure of working with Mr. Daniel Devers over the last year and a half, and he has taught me so much about simple concepts that can help to change not only my life, but my family's life. So we're very excited to bring this platform to you all tonight. I hope that you have a pen. I hope that you have a notebook or some paper or something so that you can write down what you're going to do with this information after we talk tonight. So Daniel, let's talk about the importance of multi-generational wealth.
yeah, so huge importance. And before we start, I just want to encourage everyone that's listening that you go into this conversation with an open mind, because your past conditioning is going to probably tell you that you want to do some things. You're going to get excited about it. And then as soon as we get off of this Zoom or we get off this Facebook Live, there's going to be something inside you that tells you that you can't do it. It's not for you. And that's a lie. Just to let you know that, by the way, you know, if there's other people doing it, you can do the same thing. So that's the first thing. And why is multi-generational wealth important? Well, just think about this. There's families out there like the Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers. We've all heard these names, and we go and we wonder, okay, well, how is it that they were able to establish themselves, to put themselves in a position so that their family never runs out of money, never has to depend on anyone else for finances? And it's because they've created generational wealth. And by the way, we're talking about family banks here. That's actually one of the things that they've used themselves, the concept. And it's a concept, a financial concept. So I don't want you guys to think that we're going to have to go and open up an actual bank and find a storefront, anything. This is a financial concept, right? We call it the family bank. So it's
Right.
huge. It's huge importance behind understanding how you can do this, just like they did for your family.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, excellent. You know, and as you're talking, you know, that is one of the things that I usually hear people say when I meet with them is that, oh, that's for everybody but me, right? So the multi-generational wealth, like, are there some concepts that you usually bring out to people when you sit down and talk with them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The first thing that we really talk about is just educate people on how money works, right? We get to the foundation of that. But some things that you're going to want to know when it comes to multi-generational wealth is that most of these people at some point in their life, they became entrepreneurs, they became business owners, and they let go of that dependency of having to work all their life for money, and instead took money and started making it work for them. So that's the first concept that you want to kind of put in place. I'm not saying you got to run out and quit your job tomorrow, but you know, start thinking if you've probably had some concepts or some ideas that you come across, you know, sitting there in the middle of the day drinking your lemonade, you say, hey, that'd be a great business opportunity for me to do. Or maybe someone's come to you with a great strategy and idea, and that could be the stepping stone for you. So I would definitely say that's one of the first things that you want to kind of get, is that idea of not working for money for the rest of your life, but earning money and putting the money to work for you.
Absolutely, yes. And that's one thing that is kind of great about this being October, because I found out the other day that it's National Financial Planning Month. So we're really doing an excellent job when you look at the beginning of the fiscal year, when getting together to actually make a strategy for what's going to come up for you and your family for the next year. This is the perfect time. And really with multi-generational wealth, we want to encourage people to release that poor behavior. Remember what we were talking about the other day?
Yes.
Stop passing over opportunities regularly, right? So
Correct.
Daniel, like when you usually talk with people, what are some of the adverse things that they say?
Usually, you know, the first thing they say is, like you said initially, that they don't believe that it's for them and they can do it. And that just comes from years of conditioning, you know, the environment that they might have grown up in, the individuals they're spending time with. I implore you right now that if you're somebody that wants to make a change in your life, not only just financially, but personally, that you start to look around and see who your associations are. Number one, are they individuals that are going in the same direction that you like to go? And start spending time around those people, asking them questions. So that's the first thing that we usually find. Then, hey, you know what, this doesn't fit in my spending plan right now, which is, it's okay to understand that. But the best thing to do is sit down and find out, right? You sit down with a financial professional and you draw up a nice spending plan, figure out maybe we can help you open up some cash flow, because that's usually our biggest problem, right? We're at Starbucks every single day, we're, whatever it might be, everybody has their thing, right? Their vice. But
Right.
maybe if we had a little bit more discipline, then I think also that could be another way to kind of get yourself moving on the trajectory that you want, and kind of get you pointing in the direction that you're looking for.
Yes, that is very good. So securing the family bank is a realistic thing that can happen. And I hope that all of you who are tuning in tonight will hear that the concepts that we're about to talk about and explore is nothing new. That's what really urged me to want to move and dive deeper into learning about this, is because it's nothing new. So Daniel, let's tell them a little bit about the 7702 subsection A. Let's tell them a little bit about that.
Okay, outstanding. So that's a great place to start. So we all know that we pay taxes. Everybody pays taxes, right? Or you should be. Everyone's paying taxes. And so in the tax codes there, if you ever go to irs.gov, you can look them up. I wouldn't tell you to go do it. You drive yourself crazy trying to read all that stuff. But there are tax codes out there. Some of them you're familiar with. 401k is one of them, 457. These are your retirement plans by the qualified plans from the government. Military people, you have TSPs, IRAs, all these different letters and numbers. All they do is tell the government what type of program that you're involved in and how they should tax it. Now, there's one particular program that they really don't talk to you about, but it's been around for over 113 years, probably closer to 120 now. And it's the concept of 7702. So if you go to irs.gov, you can actually type in the search IRC, Internal Revenue Code 7702, and you can scroll down, look for subsection A. And what it basically states, now this is going to blow some people's minds because the way that we've thought about this particular strategy is totally off for most of us. But it states that you can put almost an unlimited amount of money into a cash value life policy, get that money to grow tax-free, and have access to that money tax-free in the future. Now, I'm keeping it very layman's terms, a bunch of jargon in there. I don't want to overwhelm anyone with that, but I encourage you to read that for yourself. It's on the government's website, irs.gov. You can check it out. So that's one strategy that we actually employ for a lot of our clients, by the way.
Now, you said 1913 is when that started. I don't know anybody who was on this line probably that was born before 1913. So this has been in operation our entire life. And
Absolutely.
we've never got to take advantage of it. Listen, y'all, if you don't do anything else, talk to somebody. You can call myself or Daniel so we can help you understand this concept. It is changing family lives. And
Absolutely.
See, the IRS, they're always going to make sure that they take care of their business. So now we want to help you tonight to take care of your business. Don't you want the money that you earned? I mean, you put all these hours into working. Don't you want it to work for you? I know I do, right? Yeah. So Daniel, usually when we sit with people, they usually thresh out as either that 95%er or that 5%er. So let's talk about that 5%er.
Absolutely. So your 5%ers, we're talking about here in our country, when we think about wealth, we think about money. We work with two different types of clientele and in our firm. And so you've got the 5%ers who are your individuals that may be business owners, right? They're putting money away for the future, and they may be using some of the permanent policies that we just talked about here a moment ago. A lot of them are using their favorite word, which is known as leverage, right? That's the wealthy's favorite word, is leverage. And we're talking about debt, leverage debt. Now, there's two types of debt. There's good debt and bad debt. We don't have time to go into that conversation right now, but just know it. Now, they're actually using debt, and they're able to plug it in and create assets in other areas with that, right? So maybe some type of investment, venture capital opportunity, whatever it might be, right? Now, here's the key factor. Those individuals, they actually have a financial professional that's working with them. Matter of fact, they have a team of individuals that they're working with. So a coach, if you want to call it a coach, a financial coach. Now, when we look at the 95%, and we work with them as well, and a lot of times we realize when it comes to debt, that's the biggest challenge, where it's personal loans, credit cards, whatever it might be. Now they're in a position where instead of using leveraged debt, they're actually the ones that are under the thumb of the debt, and they're stuck paying for the rest of their life. And so now what we really find out as well is that most of them, they're not working with a financial professional, they're not working with the coach. And we can understand that a lot of times people don't do that because they feel like, hey, there's going to be some huge surcharge or fee that I'm going to have to pay to talk to this individual. In some cases, that is true. One thing I loved about our firm, Tremaine, is that we actually do everything complimentary. So we'll sit down with people, go over a financial strategy for them complimentary. So that's the difference. You got your 5%ers and your 95%. We work with both. We love them. We love them all. So we just have to be a little bit more patient with some of the 95%ers because we have to teach them some things financially and some foundation stuff. But we love working with them as well and getting them on the right trajectory.
Absolutely. That is amazing. And that's what we want to change. We want to change the lines of demarcation in our society. 5%, that really should be deplorable when you look at the outcome of such a thriving American society, right? So I hope that everyone who's tuning in, even if you're watching this after today, that you will get with one of the people in our firm. Myself and Daniel are at your disposal, because we don't want you to stay in that 95% range. We want everybody to start to make that 5% bigger, right? And all of you can take advantage of this opportunity. Like, there's no limit to who can be successful in securing their family bank. And this is just one aspect of what we can do. So Daniel, you talked a little bit about taxes. How do taxes really help or hinder us in starting or keeping our family bank?
Well, so taxes is one of the biggest bills that we have, right? It's one of the biggest bills we have outside of if you have kids, right? That's the other one. But taxes is the biggest one we have. So if we can help you find strategy to put in place that's going to help you to minimize the taxes, right? You can't get rid of them. You're gonna have to pay them somewhere, either now or later, whatever it is. Hopefully you're putting a strategy in place that's going to allow you to not have to worry about paying them later. And that's another subject for a different day. But that's one of the things. So we know that everyone has to put themselves in a position where if they're paying way too much in taxes on maybe their retirement, some type of saving strategy that's for the future, that we can, kind of put them in, make a shift for them and put them in a position that's going to be more beneficial for themselves and their family in the future versus Uncle Sam. Now, don't get me wrong. I love our country. I want to pay for the streets. I want to pay for our service members. God bless you guys, by the way, and thank you for your service. But at the same time, I do want my family to be in a good position in the future when it comes to the financial standpoint.
Absolutely. And I am on board with you 100%. When I was sitting down talking to a young lady about her 401k, she was upset because she had all this growth with the 401k. And then now that she's about to retire next year, they're like, all right, this is what your taxes are going to be. So her plans had to change for her retirement because she was not thinking about the taxes. So I hope that you all are understanding tonight that we can put you in a position where you don't have to worry about that. The money that you're looking at and you're growing in your bank is actually going to be what you can touch. And it's not going to be taxed when you go to leverage it and use it. So that is like magical right there. And one of the ways that we help, build is talking about the rule of 72. That's one of our favorite things to really, share with clients. So, Daniel, how would you tell them about the rule of 72?
Yes, I'll do that. Before I go there, let me go back to the taxes just to kind of give them some insight. Okay. So when we think about taxes, right, and we're putting our money in places that potentially will be taxed later, I want you guys to ask yourself a question. Are we inclined to think that taxes are going to go up in the future, or are they going to go down in the future? Think about that. Inflation, not even just this last week, I think it was listed at 8.2%, some change, right? So what that means is if I cannot put myself in a position to get my money to grow fast enough, I'm actually not going to have buying power for my dollar later. So you have that in play already. Now, we have all types of things going on in this world. God bless those that are involved, but we got wars, all types of discourse and things going on in this world that are costing money. And so that means more taxes have to be paid. So most tax professionals will probably agree that taxes are going to be going up. So let's put it this way. If you're currently in a position where you're in a strategy, you're not paying taxes right now, but you're slated to pay taxes in the future, the chances are you're missing out on a discount to pay taxes. If that makes any sense, right? So we're foregoing paying taxes on our seed to then have to pay taxes on our harvest and share about half of that with Uncle Sam. Whatever the tax rate is going to be, we don't know, because Uncle Sam gets to decide what's going to happen with that. So that's just one thing to kind of give you some insight and kind of put some thought to, your particular situation right now and your position.
Yeah, that is an excellent point. And that usually is the point that makes people say, you know what? I need to sit down with you today, because they do not want to give their money and their retirement, hard-earned retirement earnings away to have to pay high taxes. So that is an excellent point. But yes, the rule of 72, let's talk about that magical rule of 72.
Absolutely. So again, it's a concept, or it's not a concept, it's actually a real thing that was created back in 1913. And so just to give you guys some information on that and reason why it was created, right? I want you to look it up and look back. In 1913 is also when income taxes were instated. So guess what? You had a lot of wealthy people in this country. They said, hey, I don't want to give all my money away. We need to put together a strategy and find a way that we can store our money and allow it to grow. And then we can actually have some access to it tax-free. And so hence cash value policies began through life insurance companies. By the way, life insurance companies are some of the most wealthy companies on the earth, right? You'll never see that there's been a life insurance company go out of business. You've seen banks go out of business. So here's the thing I want you to understand and know. As you're putting your money with the bank, right, and they're giving you 0.001% on your savings account or your brokerage account, or maybe a CD account where they're giving you 1 to 4%, depending on how long you keep your money in there. Guess what they're doing? They're putting your money with life insurance companies. And you can look it up. I wish I had the article right here with me, but you can go online and you can find it. They're investing millions of dollars, some of them even close to billions of money that we're giving them into insurance. So what we've been able to do is take that same concept with the 7702 and do the same thing for your everyday family. And so it's been an amazing opportunity. When I first heard, like I said, when I first heard about it, it blew my mind. And that's why I said, hey, you know what? Let me get on this crusade to educate people about some of this stuff.
Absolutely. So another important thing with the rule of 72 is that most of the time when we explain it to people, they get upset because they figured out that they're on the opposite side of the earnings.
Yes.
So help us explore that a little bit, Daniel.
Yes. So again, this kind of goes back to where we talked about the rule of 72 itself, right? And so with the rule of 72, the way that this breaks down, it actually gives you the calculation of how fast your money is going to compound and double. So if I take, for example, let's say I have a savings account and I'm earning that 1% that I told you about a moment ago. What we do is we use the number 72, divide that by the interest rate that we're receiving on our money, and that lets us know how long it'll be for our money to double in that account. So the example is this. If I have my money in the account at my bank and they're giving me 1%, if I put $1 in there today, it's going to be 72 years before I have 2. Why? 72 divided by 1 is 72. Meanwhile, they're running out and they're earning 10% on your same money that you put in there. 72 divided by 10 is 7.2. So the same money you gave to them, they invested, and now they're earning that money, and it's doubling 10 times as fast as what you thought yours was going to do. So again, one of the things we want to do, and obviously this is something that you have to qualify for. So you do want to sit down with a financial professional, see if this works with your current financial position, and see if we can help you qualify for this type of strategy. But once you do, you'll be really excited that you own something like this, and putting yourself in a whole different category and lifestyle in terms of the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, most people don't have $1,200, $3,000, $1 million sitting around to invest to establish themselves as a very lucrative family bank. So what amount would it really take to start my family bank tonight?
That's a great question. And I know that's kind of the other thing that deters people from wanting to sit down with a financial professional, because they think they're going to have to come to the table with a huge amount of money. Well, here's just kind of a standard that we hold in our firm and in the industry, really. What we do is we look at your income on a monthly basis and we say, hey, you should be saving about 10% of your earnings, right? Now, if you're saving 10%, that's going to get you a good retirement. We also say you should be doing 20%. That 20% will help you get a great retirement. And we say, hey, if you want to have a dream retirement, let's do 30%. Now the question becomes, well, who actually has that in their spending plan? There are some people that actually do. So it's amazing to sit down and teach people that particular strategy, right? But then there are some people that aren't. So what we say is, let's start where you're comfortable, come up with the game plan and get some goals in place. And maybe there's some other areas that we need to help you to loosen up your cash flow. Maybe going back to opening up a business, right? Maybe you need to start a business part-time on the side to where you start bringing in some additional cash flow, and you take that money and you start using that to fund your retirement. So that's what we like to impart, on people.
Yes, that is great. Like, listen, y'all, you can start anywhere you are right now. The biggest thing we have, and it's going back to that passing over opportunities regularly, when we're introduced to new concepts, we usually cannot readily take advantage of them because we're so used to doing things a certain way, or we're so used to being the tail and not the head, right? Mm-hmm. But we want to sit down with you. We want to show you how whatever amount of money you have to start, how you can make it work for you. I know most of the people that's attending on the line tonight, you work hard for your money. Oh, that song just popped into my head, right? But you work hard for your money. And this is the time where you can take advantage and leverage every dollar you have to make it work for your family. Your children deserve to know that they are allowed to be wealthy. And one thing that Daniel said, right, is that wealth is just not in money. If you have an idea that keeps coming up for you, that may be the lane that you need to tap into so that your family's generational wealth can continue. All of us are gifted in different ways. So if you have a gift that can help somebody else's gift, well, guess what? Now you become an enterprise if you work together, right? So anybody can start your family bank at any level. It's better to invest in yourself than to go and invest in maybe Jordans or divulging in a whole bunch of eating out. If you set aside $200 a month, you can change your life in a way that you probably are not even dreaming of right now. It's amazing what we see people be able to do when we sit with them, guys. I'm telling you. Yes. And I hope you all got excited because Daniel said this. If you want to have a standard good retirement, start saving 10%. If you want to have a great retirement, start saving 20%. But for those of us who want to live the dream, we need to be putting aside 30% for our retirement. Yes. Now, I don't know if you all are on that bus of where you want to work until the day the Lord calls you home, but that's not my testimony. Daniel, how about you? Absolutely not. Right? So I hope that you guys are tuned in and actually seeing that this is something you can do. You can secure your family bank with what you have right now. Yes. Woo. And can I add something to that? Yes, sir. So we've done a great job going over the money piece and the financial concept. But we also want to take a step to create what we call an authentic three-dimensional wealth scenario. So yes, we want to be able to build and accumulate some value and wealth and maybe some assets so that gets passed on to our family. But here's something else you have to remember. And we've seen it. We've seen, someone very wealthy, maybe they passed along, they passed on, and then their family gets all the money and then the money's gone within a year, right? Because the mindset wasn't passed on, okay? Yes. So what we want to do is we want to look at not only just the financial aspect of passing things on for our family bank, you also want to look at the intellectual, right? And then also the foundational. That's good. Okay? The foundational. So with our foundational, what we're looking at is, what's your heritage, right? Does your family know your heritage? What's your background? What are some talents that you have? Yes. That you can pass on, right? Some skill sets.
Okay. And we look at intellectual. This can be wisdom, whether it's education, formal education. You know, we have another acronym that we like to use, and it's CASH with the letter K, right? And we want to pass on knowledge. You also want to pass on attitudes. You also want to pass on some skills and habits. And these are all things that can be recorded. They can be written down. You can have your journal, you know, somewhere where your family's going to find it, and let them know, hey, we have this set of resources for our family. So if something were to happen to me, this is where you can find it. And then now your kids know, hey, you know what, my mom or dad, they were great in business. I wonder how they handled this situation. And go and look into the archives. Or, you know what, my mom and dad, they started this type of business or this organization. They were great with real estate investing. They were great, you know, entrepreneurs. How did they get started? Because here's the thing. If you think about it, all the years that you've struggled and to become who you are right now, you probably say you're pretty good at what you do. What if you can cut that down to the minimal amount of time for your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkids, and everybody else that comes after you, so they can now become successful faster, right? So we want to pass on the concept of intellectual, right? We also want to pass on foundational, but at the same time, we talk about the cash piece or financial piece. So you want to get all those together. Those are all things that you want to put together.
That is phenomenal. Cash with a K. Y'all got it? Yeah. Knowledge, attitudes, skills, and habits. And we're probably already doing that, but we want to do things that are going to leverage success, right? Leverage success. I love that, Daniel. Pass on the cash. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So while you were talking about the banks, you know, I remember walking into the bank one day and seeing that FDIC disclaimer. And a lot of times people are like, hey, I know the bank, I'm gonna put my money there, whatever happens, happens. But what does that FDIC really mean?
So FDIC, the acronym stands for Federal Depository of Insurance Corporations. And with that states, if you ever go to your bank and you're at the counter with the teller, look down on the counter, you might see it on the window in front of you, but you'll see it. And in small letters, what it's basically telling you is that you're only insured up to a certain amount of money, right, with that bank. And so the challenge becomes now, okay, well, if you're someone that builds wealth, right, and you've accumulated a certain amount of assets and you got some of that money in the bank, well, guess what? If that bank goes under, they're only responsible for the amount they have you insured up to, right? Which case I believe now it's 150,000 if I'm not mistaken, but they're only responsible for that amount that you're actually insured up to. What happened to the rest of your money? And yeah, so you can only think, hey, how about this? How about I put myself in a position where I own and control where my money is growing?
Absolutely.
That's what one of the strategies we talked about, the 7702. That's one of the strategies that we use that can help people with that, right? So right. That's definitely something. I don't know. It's a powerful tool. Once you get a chance to see what it is and how it works for you, and if you might qualify for it, amazing. But I definitely, like Tremaine said, get with the financial professional if it's not myself or her, and learn what it might look like for yourself.
That is excellent, 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 excellent. So we have people asking about the cash. So I'll say it again. You're passing on knowledge, you're passing on attitudes, you're passing on skill sets, and also habits, good habits. This is good stuff, Daniel. Thank you so much. So You're welcome. Have talked about a lot with securing the family bank, but I hope that you all will really look inwardly at what your family needs at this specific time in your life. Because most of the time, people don't understand the power of controlling their money and where it goes. Dave Ramsey is an excellent, excellent resource when it comes to beginning steps of financial concepts. But this strategy right here could be considered one of the more elite, higher functioning financial decisions. And you don't have to be a millionaire for us to help you become a millionaire. That's what is so exciting to me. Because Correct. When I get to sit across from everyday families who I see them out there working hard for somebody else's dreams, that brings me so much joy for them to be able to see in 10 years what their family name is going to be worth.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And when we do that, that's actually creating an immediate estate, right? I think a
Yes.
lot of people think when you think about it, having an estate, a lot of people think about having, I have some huge property and a bunch of land and I've got a whole bunch of assets. That's an estate, yes. But another form of creating an estate is putting in place some of the things that we talked about here today and putting your family in a position that, let's think about this. Think about the idea of being able to rather have your family putting their hand out and asking for assistance all the time from the government or from you. I don't know, right? What if you're able to put your family in a position, your kids, your grandkids, great grandkids, to where now you guys have a place, a storage place where your money is there and you get to decide, hey, I can loan this out to them for a business, education, some type of venture that they want to take. You get to decide that. So you've got a storage house that's full and plentiful. And so now you get to decide who's going to do. So this is just a way for you to create that generational wealth. And here's the best part. Now that you've started that, your family, your kids, they start to look and see, what did mom and dad do? You guys know, by the way, that, and I don't want to, you're going to give me a whole nother conversation, but you guys know, by the way, that our example of how life should be is based on how we see life treat our family. And so if we see that we've got someone in our life that, they put these types of strategies in place and they've been striving, right? Maybe they worked really hard for their whole life and finally made a decision to get involved in something that was going to change their family's life. And we see that as kids, we see our parents change because their financial situation changes, right? We save marriages because your financial situation changes. We save households because your financial situation changes. The number one reason for divorce is financial, by the way, right? Now, I'm not saying we're here to cure that, but it can be something that can help. And it can also help your family dynamics change as well, because you're not stressed out about having enough money for something, right? So that's a whole nother conversation. I can talk an hour on that because that's part of the crusade. But again, just understand that we want to create generational wealth. We're not talking about here today, gone tomorrow, right? We're talking about Rockefeller type money, right? I'm not saying that's going to happen to you right away, but if you look over the last couple of 100 years, they've been able to create a tremendous amount of wealth using the same strategy.
Absolutely. And where you all see Rockefeller's name, now you can put your name there. This is real. You can do this. Whatever level you need to start at, you can do it. All it takes is a commitment, dedication, a strategy, and specific goals that you want to meet for you and your family. Daniel, as you were talking just now about possibly paying for college, a lot of people don't know. Let's say that you set up a 529 plan, right, for your child to go to college. And then Bobby is like, nah, you know what? School's not for me. What's going to happen?
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is, well, if you have more than one child, you can pass that down to the next kid. But then if the same thing happens with them, now you're stuck in a position where you access that money without using it for educational purposes. And then now you can be penalized for using it for anything outside of that, So one of the strategies, again, in place that we help people out with are the cash value policy. That's something that people have been using for years. A lot of you probably seen commercials on it and didn't even realize what it was. You guys seen Gerber commercials, the Gerber Grow Up Plan, and they say use it for education in the future. Yeah, Gerber got that from 1913, 7702, subsection A. That's exactly what it is. Now, what we're doing is we're using the same strategy and we've got it on steroids, and we're teaching moms, dads, and families how to do that for their kids.
Absolutely. And even some of you who may be thinking about starting a business, most banks are not going to give you money at a reasonable rate without you having a proven track record. But if you have your own bank, your own stash already established and set aside, guess what? You can control what you do with that money. You can start your business. I know for me, I want to do a lot of philanthropic work. So most banks are not going to get on board with me saying, hey, I want to be an angel donor to this person.
Right.
They're not going to be for that because it does not guarantee them any return, right? So I need my own family bank so I can be a blessing in the world, the way that God has pressed upon my heart that I want to do. And I know some of you on the line have some dreams and visions that you want to fund that don't align with the structure that the banks will get behind. So you need your own bank. I know some of you want to do some things that are outstanding in the community. Guess what? You need your own bank. You need your own bank. And the way that our children are going right now with their creativity and their dynamic view of life, they're not going to probably project out of our house the standard way that mom and dad taught us to. So we're going to need something in place that gives us control so we don't have to look our children in the face and say, you know what, baby, I can't help you. We don't want the creative gifts that we have built and, raised to then be put to waste because now we have to wait for us to save. Also this, you don't want to miss out on going on that dream vacation because you have to save. If you see that you want to go to Bali, you know what? You should be able to book the flight. That's it. And that's what we want to teach people, to get over that mindset of they're less than, of it can't be you. Because we want you to hear that you can be wealthy, not just with finances, but every dynamic, but you can be wealthy with your money if you tap into the right strategies.
Yeah.
And
to kind of add to that, I want you to think about something as a person that's here on this earth, right? We all serve a purpose. We're all put here for a reason and a purpose. And so in order for us still to be able to fulfill that purpose, we have to be in a state of relaxation to allow ourselves to be the conduit that we're supposed to be able to do the things that we need to do. When you're not in a relaxed state, you can't think, you can't focus. The signals that you need to receive from God, whoever you believe in, are not going to travel through because you're so stressed out. And then guess what? You don't get an opportunity to fulfill that purpose. So what if you could put yourself in a position, and I know I'm getting a whole different tangent here, but it kind of tags along with it, right? What if you could put yourself in a position? I have a really good friend, and I'll share this with you. And then Pastor Adrian Ewing's amazing man. He's here in San Diego, California, one of the brokers with our company as well. He's traveled all over the world, and he goes and speaks at different events. This gentleman said something so profound when we began our training the other day. He trains us every once in a while. And he says, you know what? Yes, I'm a pastor and I'm here to talk to you guys about the pie in the sky on the by and by. But you know what? I'm also here to talk to you about your cake, having your cake on the ground while you're still around.
Yes.
Right.
I like that.
He said, if it was for us to not be here and fulfill a purpose, we wouldn't be here.
Right.
So in order to fulfill that purpose, we have to be in a state where we can actually do that. And let's just agree that having the idea that we know our family is going to be okay financially, that relieves a lot of stress. So
absolutely. That is phenomenal. And with the hub, this is still, we're still connected to House of God Worship Center and how we move and operate. But things are different now. So having that space, you said, to relax and really hear from God so you can move with strategy is excellent. And being financial free, it will do that. It will do that for you. And I hope that you all will understand that we're living in a time where you have to be financially sound and secure, because the world's going to take care of themselves. The IRS, they're going to take care of themselves. The government, they're going to take care of themselves. And then if there's anything left, they'll create some benefits for us, right? Mm-hmm. So we want to give you control tonight. We want to give you control because you still have the power to choose how you will execute now that you have this information, right? So Daniel, I'm going to give you a few moments as I prepare to do some announcements to just kind of gather your final thoughts of what you would like to share with us. So I'm going to do the announcements and then come on and let you have your final remarks. Thank you so much again for joining us tonight. Yeah, and I'll have your final remarks in a few.
Awesome. Thank you.
So family, I hope that you all have been enjoying the hub tonight. This has been very good. There's so much we can talk about. So I feel like I'm trying to contain myself, with talking to Daniel here. But I hope that you all will just bear yourself to the announcements. We want you to continue to join House of God Worship Center every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. via our Jumpstart Prayer. And also before Sunday morning service at 11, we will continue to be praying without ceasing. If you are in the Hampton Roads area, you are definitely invited to come and worship with us. We have space for you, and it has been a glory encounter that continues to go higher and higher and higher. So please come on out if you're in the area. If you're not in the area, please join us via our House of God Worship Center Facebook page or YouTube. Funnel Cake Frenzy will be going down tomorrow at Hampton Christian Academy's Fall Festival. It's going to start at 2 p.m. and we want you to go ahead and come on out. It's going to be held at 2419 West Armistead Avenue, and that's in Hampton, Virginia. If you will go on our Facebook page, you will see the flyer. So if you need more information about that, invite your friends and family to come out because they're going to have various activities for you all to do. And the fried Oreos, funnel cakes, and lemonade will be ready for your pleasure. And they are delicious. Join us Saturday. Yes, Saturday, October 8th at 8:30 a.m. for Morning Manna. This will give you 30 minutes via our Zoom or Facebook page to go before God in prayer. Amazing, amazing warrior will be on the line tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in, 8:30 a.m. Also, join us for the next Women of Divine Excellence Book Club, which is going to be on Wednesday, October 12th. It's going to be 7 p.m. via our Zoom link. The book that we're reading is Feeding the Soul by Tabitha Brown. Amazing. We are getting ready to celebrate our bishop here at House of God Worship Center. His birthday celebration will be held on October 23rd. So we ask if you are in the area to make sure you meet us at 2510 Build America Drive at 11 a.m. Also, the Empowerment Center. If you are ready to be equipped as a Christian to live a better life through knowledge and also have a better understanding of the word, that will be held Friday, October 28th at 7 p.m. One more announcement, right? If you're looking for a fun, safe environment for your children to gather, we are going to be at 7400 Warwick Boulevard on October 29th for our trunk or treat. That's right. You guys can come on out from 2 to 6 p.m. And guess what? You can get a funnel cake or fried Oreos as well. It is going to be a time. So, you know, when we get together, it's always a great time. So please govern yourselves to the announcements. And thank you all again for tuning in. As I bring back Daniel Devers, also, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat because we want to make sure that we maximize this opportunity for you to put into action the knowledge that we have shared here tonight. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Daniel. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And those are some, I love the resources you guys are providing for the community, number one. I'll be honest, the thing I heard the most though that stood out was the funnel cake. So if you guys can mail some, I'll send you my address. I'm ready. I'm good. I'm down with it. I'm down with it. So just in closing, you know, some things to kind of remember. And again, we didn't go into a whole bunch of detail because that would, number one, expand our time here. But also we want to make sure that it's not confusing for you. We want to sit down and make sure that we're not giving you some generalized overview. We want to make it more personal. So make sure that you get with myself or Tremaine or any other financial professional that you might be working with. Sit down and talk to them and find out what would be better for you and your family. Now, we talked about cash, right? K-A-S-H. And these are some things we want to pass on from a financial and intellectual standpoint to our family as part of our family bank, things that we can record, write down. You know, maybe you have it on USB, I don't know, whatever it might be for you and your family, but cash, right? Passing on knowledge, particular attitudes, right? Some skills and habits that have allowed you to get to where you are in life and be successful, right? Then we also talked about cash itself, C-A-S-H, money, and the importance of understanding how it works and the foundation behind that. So again, you're going to want to sit with the financial professional and learn some of the concepts. We went through a few of them, but there's about 3 or 4 other ones that I think that actually benefit all of you. And then the last thing I want to state is this. Again, everyone here that's on this Zoom, that's on Facebook Live, everyone here has a purpose, right? But not only that, we all want to win. Everyone wants to win in life. Everyone wants to win in life. From the person that may have done something wrong and they made a wrong decision and they're locked up. They wanted to win at some point in their life, right? The right way. There's people right now that you may feel like you're winning or not winning enough because you're thinking about your kids, you're thinking about your family, grandkids, and you feel like you have to win a little bit more so you can make sure they're going to be okay in the future. Everyone here is designed to win. But here's what happens is that we allow fear to stop us from taking action. And when you do that, when you allow fear, false evidence appearing real, you allow that to take the hold on you, you stop taking action, you do not move forward, and you lose traction, right? It's another thing, distraction. We think about distraction. The first part of that word is to disconnect, right? To take apart. Traction, as you be able to grab or hold on to. So if you are distracted, you're no longer on the road that you need to go because you're not focused, right? So we got to focus on our family, number one, where we want them to be in the future, and some of the things that we want to accomplish. If we just align ourselves and our actions, align your actions with the dreams and goals you have. Align your actions with the dreams and goals you have. This is one thing I loved about athletes. I coach, Tremaine talked about coaching, right? And so I won't be too long-winded with this, but I want you to think about something. And a professional athlete, intermediate, amateur, whatever you want to call it, in the beginning of the season, they set up a series of goals that they want to achieve. And so as a coach, I ask my athletes, what are we trying to achieve this year? Hey, I want to jump, another foot further. I want to run a few seconds faster. My job as a coach is to put together a game plan that we're going to follow every day in practice, and their actions that we're taking that's going to align with the goal that we have in place. And what we are believing is that by doing those actions, by the end of the season, they will have accomplished those goals. It's the same thing in your life. If you have certain goals that you have personally, financially, for your family, whatever it is, choose the actions and take those actions on a daily standpoint, a daily basis, and start going towards your goal and do your best not to be distracted, which is hard in this world. We got social media and television. So anyways, that's what I'll leave you guys with. Tremaine, again, thank you so much for allowing me to come on. And if you guys will have me back another time, I'll definitely say yes to that. I really love the opportunity.
Yes, you did a phenomenal job. Yes, Daniel Devers is an awesome, awesome partner. I love, love, love working with him. So I hope that you all have been encouraged that you can leverage your money. It's time out to stop building somebody else's dreams, and it's time to start building your own. That's what's so phenomenal. That charges me up, knowing that I have something that I'm working towards and I have a strategy in place that I can guarantee that will work. Yes. So thank you again, Daniel. I look forward to continue working with you. I appreciate you all for being on the line tonight. If you know somebody that can use this information, please have them to go ahead and watch it. And like I said, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes of sitting with us to actually put this into place. So we're here for you. Daniel, how can they find you?
You can find me either on Facebook, Daniel Devers. It's my name. You can find my smile. I'll just smile for you. See this big bright smile? That's me. And then you can also find me on Instagram at Coach_Daniel Devers. My last name is spelled Devers, right? So Coach_Daniel Devers. You can call me directly if you like. I'll give you my number. It's 954-647-4208. That's my direct line. If I do not pick up, make sure you leave a voicemail for me. You can text as well. And then finally, my email. I'll give you the basic one. It's my first and last name, Daniel Devers @gmail.com. It's DANIELDEVERS @gmail.com. So.
Perfect. Awesome. I know I'm going to be hearing from some of you because it's time for us to win. Okay. Now, next month, we have another amazing topic for you. We're going to be talking about great eating and health made simple. And I know we're getting ready to go into the holidays, so it's better that we go on and get it out the way now, right? Our guest is going to be our own Mahalia Frost. And she studies holistic eating and wellness. So she's going to have a plethora of knowledge for us to explore. So make sure you go ahead and put it on your calendar so that you can be with us next month for the hub for our amazing topic. Thank you all again for joining us. And if you're in the Hampton Roads area or anywhere else, because Zoom will allow me to be in any state, please let me hear from you so I can show you how this works. All right. You all have a blessed evening, and it's time to win. Let's go secure our family banks.
Absolutely.
Take care, y'all.